Tarps Off Sports.
Bang, welcome back to another episode of Tarps Off MMA. I'm Jack Gotsell, joined by Sergio, and we have Dre Miley joining us today. How are you doing, Dre?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good.
So first things first, man. It's been a while since we spoke. Where are we catching you? Did you just leave practice? What are you up to?
Today's Sunday, so I just got done, cutting the lawn and, doing my husbandly duties. So that's what I've been doing all day today.
There you go.
Resting.
Yeah, so you're coming off a pretty impressive win here. What is next for you?
Just keep fighting. I'm really not banking on, UFC calling me anytime soon. Like, I'll definitely put my hat in the ring, but I ain't really, hoping and wishing on anything too crazy. So I know I still have to prove myself. So if they call me, they call me. If they don't, they don't. I'm not mad either way.
That win was emphatic. It's a very impressive knockout against a very dangerous opponent. Was there a little bit of like you felt like you needed to prove something after the Jose Johnson fight?
No, not necessarily. Like, I wanted to prove like that I can finish a fight besides, doing submission or, taking somebody 15 minutes, because with the Jose fight, it was more like I can go 15 minutes with the best of them. And at the same time, it's like, all right, so now I can prove it, and now let's see I can start finishing everybody. So it's more so showing people that Jose got away with, a crappy decision, because he definitely didn't win that fight. So it's more so showing them that fight wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, was there any pressure to get it done early? I saw that you did get the first round knockout. Was that what you're going for? A quick finish?
No, actually, it wasn't. I was just trying to, find a way to finish, because in my head, I had visualized this fight so many times that me and him was going to go, the second round. In my head, I was like, the fight would be done by second round, because, he's a ground guy, and then, like, the first round's gonna be nothing but try to takedowns and, stuff like that. So I didn't intend on getting a first round finish. It's dope that I did, so I'm really happy about it. Not mad about it, but again, it's just one of those things I didn't bank on.
Going back to the Johnson fight, I rewatched it, and it's very controversial. I thought you won. Obviously, you thought you won. Do you feel like a loss at this stage in your career can really, impact you tremendously? Going, 9-3 is way different than 8-4 at this point. Do you feel like it's really kind of like set you back a little bit having that loss there?
No, absolutely not, because I feel like the caliber of fighter that I lost to, it shows that, and especially how the way the fight went, it shows that I can actually, I'm at that level. It's not one of those things, because he was supposed to knock me out in the first round, like Tapology and all those MMA experts out there. They were like, "Oh, he's gonna knock Dre out first round and blah blah blah. Dre never fought somebody this tough and this and that and the third." And it's like, all right, fine. And in my head, I was like, I'm gonna put you through 15 minutes of hell. You're gonna hate life by the end of it. So at this point, a loss to him doesn't really do anything. It shows everybody like, okay, this dude's a real deal. So it really raised my stock rather than like, crushes it. Now, if I had lost to Tim, then yeah, they would be like, all right, this guy's kind of bummy. He's only a regional guy, so.
Yeah, a big win can propel you, and obviously we're coming through the pandemic here. Did you feel like that held you back at all, not being able to fight as much, or did it affect your training at all?
I believe that everything happened for a reason. Like, it sucked because I had a lot of fights fall through. I was supposed to fight Jeremy Mitchell. I was supposed to fight Devontae Sewell. I was supposed to fight a lot of those guys, but like the pandemic was like, hold off. And it took me a minute, with the great coaching from Eric and everybody came back. It was like, no, you'll get your chance. And like, I believe that it all happened for a reason, because it helped me get more out of my training. So supposedly, if you go to fight camp, you go hard, but that's it for that fight. You don't keep going. So then you find new levels that hit to your new training, and you hold up to your standards. So I believe that it all happened for a good reason. I'm actually happy that I didn't fight now, which is weird to say.
I know Valor FC was one of the promotions that really was able to continue pumping out events. A lot of these regional promotions were on the sidelines, but they actually had some events. Was it important for you to return to Valor? I know you've spent your entire pro career there.
I love fighting for Valor because they take very good care of all their fighters, and the fans are just awesome. So it's always nice to come, especially it's right there in my backyard. So it's always nice to fight in front of fans, put on the show for them, and give back to people who show you nothing but love on a daily basis. So I was really hoping to get back at least to a Valor show. Like fighting out of town, it's cool and all. You get to see different arenas and stuff, but like there's nothing wrong with fighting at home.
Yeah, and you train out of Tennessee. You actually train with OSP. What is that like? What do you take from training with such an elite fighter like him?
It's cool because like these past two camps, like especially the Jose Johnson fight, he like really took me under his wing, and like he nitpicked every single thing that I needed to do, and like he overcorrected me, really good because like everybody, like when we fight, Eric's in the corner, you can hear Eric, but like it's weird to hear Vince in your corner and Vince is shouting and saying things. And then this past fight, I heard more of Vince than I heard of Eric, which was even more weird. So having him there, he's definitely took on like this big brother role, which is awesome, and I love it. So it's helped me out so much, as well as helped out other people because he does it for everybody else.
Yeah, there really is a solid team there, like Liv Parker, et cetera, et cetera. There's such a good group of people there. You did spend some time away. What was the decision like? What went behind the decision to spend some time away? Was it a new looks? What was the reason for spending some time away from there?
Oh, when I went to Arizona?
Yeah.
Oh, that was because of like a couple of our teammates. They went to do this FST training, and they was wondering if like any fighters wanted to cross train, and like I don't ever really cross train. Like I stay home. I'm comfortable being, where I'm at. And there's like, Dre, you should go. And the other fighter's like, hey, you need to go because you need more looks, because you're right there and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, I'll go out there. And it was fun. Beside the heat, it was pretty good. It was so dry out there, so dry heat. But like going with, UFC guys and LFA and Bellator guys really like helps you see like, holy crap, I am really right there with these guys. It's like, it's a very big confidence booster. It really is. It's really awesome.
So obviously the UFC is the dream, but if you got the chance to fight in like a Bellator or a ONE FC, would fighting in one of those big promotions be like a crowning jewel to your achievements?
100%. It would show to me that all this work that I've been doing is actually being noticed. UFC, everybody wants to make the UFC, but I would be totally fine fighting for Bellator because those guys love to scrap. They get paid pretty good, and and they love what they do. They love to fight. ONE is another one. I love to fight for ONE. It's just UFC is always the first thing, and for some reason I'm being associated with UFC because I fought old UFC guys, and it seems to be just right there. So if Bellator wants me, they can get me. I mean, I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna act bougie or anything. Like, no, I'm only a UFC person. Like, no, I'm gonna fight for whoever wants it. And if Bellator wants me, cool. If UFC wants me, whatever. So at this point, I'm just looking to get that extra push, that extra love of fight.
I want to touch on something that we've touched on before, and it's being, I think, the only person that I can think of that fights with one eye. What's the initial reaction from people when they hear that, you fight mixed martial arts and you're doing it with one eye?
It's a very big shock value to people. People are like, "Oh, wait, you really fight?" It's like, yeah, like either I'll get the really cool, or I get the, "Oh, you shouldn't do that because you could go blind." Answer. So yeah, so it's a very mixed bag of it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of weird, but everybody, it's always shock. It's always a shock.
Yeah, well, it clearly shows some toughness and stick to it. I mean, you have to train so hard with that, and it's just an added thing against you. What would you say to a young fighter that has something going on and tell them to push through it? And what do you do to to overcome like the hardships of having to fight with one eye?
I would say everybody's going to tell you not to do something. They're always going to tell you because everybody likes to be safe in this world. And if it's something that's really, burning in your gut or it's lighting a fire under you, but hey, go for it. Absolutely go for it. Worst thing that happens, they say no, and just keep trying until they say yes. So don't take no for an answer unless it's, you need to. But if it's your dream, hey, go for it. Go for a full tilt. Find the right people. There's people out there that will, that will help you get there because everybody wants to, live up to their full potential, but only you can go forward yourself. So just keep going.
I love
Absolutely.
I love the positivity, and one of the things that we saw with Nick Newell, who only has one arm, was that a lot of people were hesitant to fight him because it's like, oh, you know what? If you beat him, you beat a one-armed fighter. Do you feel like in a way that people either avoid you for that reason, or do you think that that it hasn't affected you at all? You're able to find fights regardless.
I think it's a mixed answer. I think there's some people who are like yes, and then some people are like no. But at this point, with the record being so good, it's more people being like, oh, I have to fight him because I do get to beat somebody that has one eye and he's winning, but at the same time, you don't get to tell people that story. Like that's a weird thing to tell about your career. It's like, hey, I fought a dude with one eye, and it's like what, or So it used to be to the point where I was like, man, nobody's gonna fight me. And then next thing you know, I reeled off like 5 or 6 fights, and then people are like, yeah, I'll fight you. And then now people are it's like, no, yes, no. It's mostly money people are concerned about, but it's never really the eye anymore.
There you go. Is there any like dream fights you have looking ahead? Is there anybody that you would like really want to get a chance to fight coming up?
I have at least about 3 or 4 that I'd love to get off. You know, uh, one would be another, Cody Durden fight. I would love to fight him again. I feel like I have changed so much as a fighter, and even with that fight, that was weird too, because I could easily beat him if I, did the right things, but such is life. Probably Jose Johnson again. I know people have been asking me for like I should rematch him, and people want to see that, and it probably would sell big in the UFC, or at least on being a good card. I'd love to fight Ronnie Lawrence. Would love to fight him. We never really crossed paths in Valor, which is weird. And I have few more fights than he does, which is even more bizarre. So I'd love to fight him and Christian Ocon. I'd love to fight him. Love to fight him again. And then my ultimate fight would be TJ Dillashaw. I would love to fight TJ Dillashaw.
There's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that's an amazing one. Um, I know I tweeted you the other day about a fight. We were joking back and forth about a fight that fell through. Um, at 8-4, that's a very good record for a flyweight. And I know you joked around saying, yeah, if I dieted now, I could make flyweight. Is that something that in the foreseeable future we could see you do? Drop down to 125, given how shallow it is in the UFC and Bellator?
I mean, 100%. Like I tell people all the time, I have guys at the gym ask me, like, would you make that drop again? Like, I would, if UFC was like, hey, we need a 25er, I'll start dieting now because I can make it. It's not a lack of effort, and it's not, I can make it. It's just I'm not a happy person to be around, and but 100%, they would be like, oh, it's open. I would definitely take 125 because watching the fights last night, I was like, man, I could really go in there and just go on for a tear because when I was fighting at flyweight, I was huge. I was massive for, 125s. And then seeing that Figueroa's only like 5'4" and Moreno's only like 5'5", I'm like, I would, I'd be a monster amongst those guys. So I would do it in a heartbeat.
What did you think of that co-main event last night? Did you get a chance to watch Moreno and Figgy? And what did you think about Moreno's performance?
I watched it from me and a few of my teammates. We all got together and we all watched it at one of my friends' house. And I watched it and I thought I knew how the fight was going to go in Moreno's favor because I watched like the embedded shows, and you could just tell from the vibe that Moreno was giving off, it wasn't nothing like he wasn't concerned about the fight. He was more like, I'm enjoying life. And Freddie Guerrero's like, I'm angry and I hate everybody. I was like, this is the fight. It's like this is already won here. So watching Moreno do his thing, and it was just a lot. It was nice to see him actually take, Davison down and control him, which is something that's people can't really do. So it was nice to see. I'm a Moreno fan, so I love the guy. He's awesome.
Yeah, it almost seemed like Moreno won the mental battle ahead of the fight. Like you could see both, and you're like, Moreno's got something about him. As someone who's been in there, has there been fights where you're like that mental switch hasn't been able to like switch on?
Yeah, all the way up until the Cody fight, that was my mental switch problem. I could never get myself to, pull the trigger and never be like, I gotta go. I gotta go. It was more like, all right, let's see what he's gonna do. So you have to do that mental work, because that's what a lot of people fail to realize is everybody can throw punches, kicks, and everybody can do takedowns and submissions, but no one can sit there and confront that demon that's inside of you. You got to confront it, because when you fight, it's going to come out, and if you don't know what you are dealing with, it's going to suck. So thank God that the team that I have, with Eric, he's big on mental work, and we all have been doing it, from everybody from Vince all the way down to like, a debut level fighter that's amateur has been doing mental work. So it definitely pays dividends.
What would you want to tell someone that's never watched one of your fights before about you as a fighter?
Don't move. Don't move. It's a lot of action. Like there's a lot of things that happen. Like even in, the losses I have, they've never been like very like slow fights. Every fight I've ever been in, it's been fast from start to finish. So don't try to go get a beer. Don't try to go to the bathroom. If I'm fighting, I guarantee you're gonna get price of admission. So yeah, just stay watching, because something's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen, because I can't tell you, and I know my opponent can't tell you, but I just know something big's gonna happen.
Is that something you pride yourself on, being exciting? I know a lot of fighters like just cater to the fans. Is that something that you pride yourself on?
Not really, because like I try to have fun. Like, when I fight, I just want to have fun. I go in there, I kick the switch, but in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna have fun destroying this guy. It's just how it goes. Like in my head, like I got 15 minutes to, figure out how I'm going to set the kill up. So never tried to entertain fans. It just happens that when I do, it's entertaining. So I never try to be like, yeah, let's do this for the fans. Like, no, I'm just gonna go in here and whatever happens, happens.
That's awesome. What would you say is your best attribute as a fighter? Is it your kicks, your punches, your ground game? What is your specialty?
I would say all of it, because everybody has like a certain discipline that they're good at, and everybody talks about how good wrestling is, how good my wrestling is, and like it's good and everything, but like the ability to mix it up. So like you never know what you're going to get from me, especially after watching the Jose fight and now the Tim fight. The next one's going to be like, I don't know what to expect from this guy, so I have to defend every single thing. So more of like the explosions, I guess, is when am I going to explode, and if I do explode, how much am I going to stay on? Because I'm not going to let up. So again, that just goes to the gym that I train at. We don't train just jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. We train it all. So we were MMA gym and not necessarily jiu-jitsu gym, which is dope.
All right, man. Well, that's it for me. I have no more questions, man. I appreciate your time, and man, whatever's next for you, I can't wait to see it.
I appreciate that, man. Glad to have me on here.
Yes, thank you so much, Dre. Anything you want to plug before we let you go here?
Just follow me on like Instagram, so Dre Miley MMA 135. Facebook, you just look up my name. I'm on there. I did make a TikTok, and I'm not too good at it yet, but people can follow me there, and I think it's really do so. You can follow me on.
Could we see any TikTok versus?
Pretty much it.
Could we see any like
And then thank
future
you to my mates that keep working out with me and stuff.
Could we see you any TikTok fights in the near future?
So what in the near future?
Could we see you fighting any TikTokers in the near future?
I mean, you could. I'm just saying, the way the Paul brothers are pulling everybody out, I would gladly fight somebody, that's in that time career. It's like, yeah, fight me. I'll take a quick million real quick. I'll fight you for views at this point, whatever it takes to get to that level. So
Absolutely.
I'll
I'd
pull
love
up
to
at
see
your
one of the
house.
TikTokers or YouTubers come over to MMA. Try that
Yeah.
out.
I would just pull up at their house and just do boxing gloves in front of them. That's what I would do. Like, you have views and I need them, so, and you need experience, so I would gladly do that.
Absolutely.
So,
All right,
that's
man.
what I
Well,
would do.
we appreciate the time, man. Best of luck in whatever's next. Hopefully it's something big, and I can't wait to watch your next fight.
All right, man. I appreciate this. I really do.
Thank you, Jake.
All right, thank you.
There we go. That was Dre Miley. That was a fun way to end the interview there.
Yeah, it got laggy, so I kept asking the same question, and I was like, oh, well, this is weird. Hopefully it turns out fine. But man,
I think the audio was good. I think it's just the faces were a little laggy.
What a story, man. It almost gives you chills, and the fact that he's able to do that really is inspiring.
And stay so positive too.
Yeah.
Very excited to see his next fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for people who haven't heard the story, like, to just look it up, Dre Miley, he lost it in a car accident when he was 17. And then he started his MMA career. And I had talked to him before, and he said, like, they know what his weakness is, right? Like, it's just circle to that side. But he's adapted his game to, like, modify for that and, like, prepare for that, which is so impressive to me.
Yeah, it is truly a remarkable feat to fight your entire professional career with one eye and do so well.
Yeah, I mean, 8-4 is very impressive in general. And to have that with one eye and being loyal to an organization, the Jose Johnson fight, which was controversial, the Cody Durden one, he had a lot of success in as well. Like, very impressive record, and he's kind of slid under a lot of people's radars. And I'm glad that we had the chance to speak to him.
Yeah, would love to see him get a shot on Dana White's Contender Series.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the Contender Series has a lot of guys that are in around that range, like 8-4, 9-4. And I think just an opportunity to get his story out would be huge. But we've seen Dana hesitant in the past with guys like Nick Newell to not give them an opportunity because it doesn't look good, right? If a guy with one eye loses or a guy with one arm loses. But I think if the guy can fight, the guy can fight.
Yeah, and if it's what the guy wants to do and he's training his whole life to do it, how can you take that away from him if he's good enough to do it?
Yeah, I mean, and then you look at the team he's with, right? Like Ovin St. Preux, Liv Parker, for people who don't know, she just fought Kat Zingano. He's surrounded with a great team, and he's loyal. And you don't see that very often in this game.
Yeah, that is a great team there. OSP leads the locker room, and it was cool to hear how much of a help OSP is to even Dre's training.
Yeah. He said he looks up to him like an older brother, which is kind of cool to hear. And I think it just shows how good of a person OSP is as well. We have another guest coming on. I sent him the link. We're just waiting for him to jump on here. So we're just kind of winging it until then.
True.
So we've got AJ Cunningham who's coming up here shortly. He's got an inspiring story too that hopefully he touches on a little bit.
Bang, and now we welcome on AJ Cunningham. How's it going, AJ?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Doing well. I'm doing well. So last time we spoke was I feel like it was ages ago. Since then, world's been going crazy with the pandemic and everything. So how's the past year or so been for you in terms of training and everything like that with the pandemic?
Man, it's was going great, and then this my past LFA fight, many of y'all know, didn't go our way. I ended up breaking my leg in the first 10 seconds of the second round. We shook it off during the fight as some muscle cramps, maybe some peroneal nerve damage, and fought through it. Fast forward to 8 weeks after the fight, we finally decided to go get an x-ray and see what was all this pain. Sure enough, my fibula had been completely snapped in half. And so been working through that. So training hasn't been the best here of late. I actually just set up cross training with Jason Knight, Tyler Hill, and Brandon Davis, all former Contender Series or UFC fighters here in the next 2
Yeah.
weeks. Also got a little bit work in with posture, but like I said, the past 2 months of this year has been really difficult on training because of the broke leg, obviously.
There we go. So, what are you looking at next? I know you fought in LFA last time. Are you looking to get another fight at LFA, or are you looking to move on, or are you pretty unsure of what your next move is?
Actually under contract with LFA for 2 more fights. It was a 3-fight contract, 18-month span. So that's kind of my home as of now. Hell yeah, man! I'm hoping to get in that there in mid-August. You know, I go back to MMA full time this Monday. I say full time, but go back every single day, 6 days a week, and train starting this week and really test it out. I mean, there ain't no reason. This is mid-June. I have the rest of June, beginning of all of July, and the beginning of August to get in fighter shape, and I can do it. I want to get this bad taste out of my mouth. You know, that loss was rough. And I had to sit with it for a while now, and yeah, I'm hoping mid-August get back into the LFA cage, man.
So you said 8 weeks, which means it was probably about almost mid-May by the time that you got the news of your leg. This past month
May
for you,
21st.
May 21st. So it's been like what, 3 weeks? So that's crazy.
Yeah.
What's so far? How's your recovery going with that?
Bro, great. Like I said, so I've never had broke a bone before, so it was like I said, I thought it was some muscle, maybe nerve damage, a perennial nerve that's huge in MMA now with the cap kicks. And I mean, I was walking on it 2 weeks after the fight. I was walking on it, able to put weight on it, and had re-injured it in practice. And I guess I broke the callus, the bone that callus together, broke it off again. And, you know, fast forward 2 more weeks and I'm fine. I'm hopping on it. I can squat on it. I mean, I'm just trying to be a little more cautious this time because I don't want to be out for the remainder of the year trying to nurse up the same injury, you know.
Absolutely. So when you're looking at the LFA roster, are there any dream fights for your next 2 fights that you'd like to take on, or is there anyone in particular you want to fight?
Man, honestly, no names off the top of my head. Just I want to. My man over here to the left knows my approach. I like taking shit slow, but the goal is fight out this contract, sign 1 more contract, and in the beginning or in late 2022, I want to be the 145 champ for LFA. So I'd like to pop off at least 2 more fights this year. I want to get out of this original contract for LFA. I want to fight in August, and then probably October is the goal. You know, if we can squeeze in 3, I'm cool with it. But I know how busy LFA is trying to please everybody under contract. But yeah, I want to finish this contract out, sign another contract with LFA, and then win their belt, go to the UFC. That's the plan. As far as names, anyone they throw me, you know.
I think that's the right mentality. I mean, you're only 26, which is crazy to think about given how many fights you've had. Do you think right now this layoff is kind of nice? I know it's a bit forced, but you just signed a huge contract with LFA. Well, first fight didn't go your way due to injury and whatnot. Do you think like a forced layoff is kind of nice for a mental break as well?
In a few ways, yes. So, of course, after a loss, I'd like to be left alone for days. Like, I don't want no one talking to me, no one reaching out. I just want to focus and reflect on what just happened, what I just did wrong. And, you know, and I feel like any athlete does this, anyone that truly cares. Like, you're like, you lose and you're like, damn, am I as good as what everyone says I am, or am I as good as I think I am at times? And, you know, the weird thing is, once I found the news out that it had been broke, it was so uplifting because it was really like, damn, I am as good as I am. I'm a soldier. I fought 9-8 minutes on a completely snapped in half leg, you know, and finished the fight. We didn't win, but we finished the fight one-legged, you know. So it was really a boost. I was down. I was really, really down about the loss, man. I was really down about this injury. And in a weird way, that x-ray kind of lifted me up. And it's like, man, if we got through that, we can definitely get through anything, and we're going to conquer. 2-3 years, we're there, you know. 2 years. I'm not saying 3 anymore. It's 2 years. I'm going to go from this point on, probably 5-1, 5-2 in the LFA cage, get into the UFC with a 14-3 14-4 record. That's realistically what we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that you like to stay extremely active. I mean, you had a long amateur career. You've had tons of professional fights at only 26 years old. So it must be a little hard to step back and take a little time off due to an injury. But I mean, obviously, your cousin is one of my favorite UFC fighters, Bryce Mitchell, a rising star in the sport as well. Do you talk to him a lot, and does that help you out on your mindset and maybe any tips or training with each other that helps you get to where you are today?
Man, I talk to Bryce all the time. We watch fights together. We train out in his garage. He's got a couple of tricks for his next fight that I'm not at liberty to speak about, but they're just wow. The way that guy, people think I'm obsessed about this sport. The way that guy obsesses and breaks things down and takes different techniques from each style, it's unmatched. And I can't wait for him to get back in there. He's got something pretty cool that he's going to use and I believe change the game of MMA, honestly. And yeah, I talked to Bryce about this injury, and he's big on me slowing down, much like you said, this break, just slowing down, taking my time, making sure my body's rested and healed and not to rush anything. But it's hard to pull that dog back, like you said. You get on a roll, like I'd been on this past year, 3 fights, 3 dominant victories, and it's just like, I don't know, it's like a car crash, man. And after the adrenaline's wore off, you're just looking, you're like, fuck, man, the car's wrecked, and how am I going to get around? What am I going to do for a vehicle? That's how this loss feels. Like, I just want to move on. I want to get this taste out of my mouth. I want to get that image out of my head and go forward, man.
I mean, he's had injuries of his own, one in particular, which kind of surfaced around the internet. We don't have to go into too much detail, but what sorts of advice does he give you in terms of like, this is how I'm recovering my injury. This is how I've dealt with my injuries in the past. And I'm sure having someone like that around you to give you that sort of advice means the world.
Absolutely. It's really just a Phil thing. He told me from the jump before we even knew it was broke that he's like, man, shit, I wouldn't go train for 2 or 3 months. He's like, just rest that thing, rest the leg. It's a contusion. It's a deep, deep bruise, And that's what we just thought it was. But he was wanting to, even with that injury, take it slow. I'm sure he would like me to wait a whole lot longer until August before me and him go back to LFA and get our first victory there. But, when he sees me in there and I'm moving and we're moving, then he'll be able to tell, his mind will be put to ease, I know. So.
Absolutely. So obviously the pandemic has altered your training, all that. And you haven't gotten to fight as much, obviously. So for someone that hasn't seen you fight before, what would you tell them about you? What makes you an exciting fighter?
What makes me an exciting fighter is I don't play it safe at all. The techniques I throw is it's a high risk, high reward, honestly. And, I'm never looking to outpoint someone. And a lot of fighters say that. But, yeah, I mean, you can look at the resume. It's high 90s, maybe, 92, 90% finish rate in my fights. I had 1 decision win as a pro, 1 decision win as an amateur in 15 fights, 7 finishes. Only way that people knock on wood, because the day will come. But I'm 7-2 as a professional, and both my losses are by decision, 1 being a split. So if you're going to take me out, you got to take me the 15 minutes to get that win. I don't give up wins. You know what I mean? And when I fight you, it's my jab is to knock you out. My fucking uppercut's coming from my hip. You know what I mean? Like everything I throw is with super bad intentions. I want to take minutes off people's lives. And that's just my style. It's just in me. It's not something you can fake. We see wrestlers come in and they lay on people for 15 minutes, or we see these pretty boy fighters come in and they're just jabbing and using good footwork, which is fine and dandy because I love the footwork area of this now. But I like to bite down the fucking mouthpiece and take someone's nose off their face,
I love that. There's something I want to touch on a little bit here is you've always been a fighter. Long before you even became a mixed martial artist, you were forced to fight in so many different ways. How does your background and being also having brothers as well, how has that shaped you into the mixed martial artist you are today?
mental toughness is as simple as that. I mean, there ain't no other way to really go into great detail about it. I'm just mentally tough, a lot more mentally tough than a lot of people. Shit's temporary. Anything in life's really temporary. You look at it from a point that's, will this matter in 1 year? Will this matter in 2 years? It's insignificant. That loss in LFA, insignificant. The one I lost back in 2019 against the guy named Solo Hatley, who's 8-4 now, it's insignificant. It's really hard not to let the losses hurt you so much, and at the same time not let the wins get you too hyped up. And I'm getting better at it as the years go by, but that's one thing I've gotten, as I've always been decent at, just move on to the next day because of my past.
There you go. And obviously, when you get a loss, you want to learn something from it, and you talked about that, staying away and not really talking to anyone and really analyzing what happened for a couple of days after the fight, which is, I think, is a really great approach. And obviously, is that something you take pride in, like, learning from every single fight that you've had, and you've had so many fights?
Bro, and once again, just look at the resume on Tapology. Look at every loss on how I lost, or go and watch film on how I lost, whether it was wrestling, whether I got outstruck. I've come back and addressed that exact area of how I lost in the very next fight and looked like it didn't even happen. And what can we take from this loss? Don't stand too heavy on the lead leg, and don't fall into the hype. Those were my two biggest weaknesses going into this fight. Plus 300 Vegas favorite going into this fight. Everyone saying, "Oh, you're going to kill this guy. You're going to murder this guy." I get in my own head. I'm like, this guy's going to be a breeze. I get in there, and I don't even feel like it's a fight, because usually I'm jacked up. I'm like, all right, this is a dog fight. We going this cat. And I didn't get to do that. And I've been bad about standing on my lead leg so I can counter and throw the uppercut, right? Make him want to throw the jab. The problem is, on your lead leg, a true smart martial artist would know, kick the leg out from underneath him. And that's what he did. And we'll fix that. And it has been fixed.
I love it. And I think this sport really is about growth. And one of the things I like about you is not just your activity, not just the way you fight, but you've also bounced around. You fought just about everywhere in every organization you can think of. What was it? Just why? Well, why are you bouncing around multiple organizations and rather than just trying to find a steady home?
Are you asking why I bounce around from different organizations?
Yeah, obviously now you just signed to LFA, but before that you were fighting in Icon and pyramid fights and all over the place.
Yeah. And that's just the thing. It's just a whole experience. If I would have stayed, which is ran by my coaches in my hometown, there would have been some questions that would have been asked. I get the opportunity to fight for Icon and Dean Tool. Why would I not want to do that? And LFA, you're talking about the minor league of the UFC. I mean, I'm pumped to get to continue to work with them and see where it goes. If it doesn't happen, if me and LFA can't work out another contract after this one's up, man, hit up Mr. Tool and see what we can't do with Icon. They just had on their past show. But like I said, I want to stay with LFA. Those guys were so cool. Great experience. A lot of talent comes out there. I feel like LFA posts about their clients going to the UFC every week. They got 2 to 4 people going into the UFC. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and obviously LFA is a streamline to the UFC. But if another opportunity presented itself with, say, like a Bellator or a ONE FC, would you be opening to going there in maybe before the UFC or instead of the UFC?
110%. I've said many times it's not just the UFC. I fight for Bellator. I fight for. I think I realistically think ONE FC would be my close. UFC takes the edge, but I would love to fight for ONE FC, man. Go over to Asia and put on the show. That energy over in Asia is just different. They care about this a little bit more different kids, you know.
I'll ask one more here, and that'll be it for me. But as someone with brothers myself, I know what that bond is like, and I know that you're so close with your brothers as well. What does it mean to you to have brothers who support you on your journey as well, while they're doing their own thing and fulfilling their own dreams?
Man, it's awesome, and I really can't say enough good things about those cats, honestly. And you know, like you said, you had brothers, you know how the bond is, and especially with what we've seen and what we've been through. But those are my dudes. Those are my ride or dies. We give each other hell about any life choice, career choice, but I, those guys are in my corners, man, and I couldn't say enough good things about them.
Awesome. AJ, I want to give you the opportunity before we let you go here to plug anything you want or let the fans know anything about you that you want to let them know.
Hey, can't thank y'all enough for having me on. Just know this next fight's going to be way different than all the rest. It's just like every other one I've gotten better. There's a point in my knockout anybody that had their hands dropped, and I had a clean shot on the chin, and then I started comatosing people. Like I said, the last fight was a little unlucky, but when I come take minutes off people's life, I promise you that. I mean, you see the head kick, you see the uppercut, they're laying there unconscious. 2-3 minutes, we're gonna up it to 5 or 6. Man, I'm serious. I learned in this past fight that you know, and I have learned this before too, but when you're high, you're high. Like everyone's your boy, everyone's your friend. You can't get people to stop texting you. You can't get people to stop saying nice things. You know, buying you dinner. We're on the low. You know, the real people come up and they show up and they show out. And I'm ready to get back on that hype, and I'm gonna show who I am, what I am, and that hype is real.